everyone, welcome to the 2020-2021 SRAP orientation. This pertains to Fall 20 and Spring 21. We will talk about Summer SRAP separately, so thank you for joining me for this introduction to our SRAP year. If this is your first year with SRAP, welcome. I want to quickly discuss why we have SRAP. In a nutshell, SRAP enables faculty and staff to employ undergraduate students to assist in research and other related opportunities. So the purpose is to encourage these students to participate in research and in other educational opportunities that are anchored to their field of study in order to enhance their learning experience, improve their quality of life, advance their academic skills, and to promote EWG. And the main goal is to help diminish attrition rates among underclassmen while accomplishing at least one of the goals listed here that you can see on the slide. Undergraduate research is a high-impact practice, so it is something that we really want our students involved in, and SRAP is one way that we do that. So to give you the big picture of SRAP for this year, the SRAP year runs from August 9th of 2020 through May 12th of 2021, and students are not allowed to work outside of the SRAP year. So those are the dates during which your student assistants can work for SRAP this year. You do need to think about a project outcome right from the beginning. You can decide to go with a different outcome than what you originally selected in your application as long as one of the outcomes is met. So before you hire your student and really start on your project, consider what you want that student project outcome to be. And that may be something that you wait and talk to your student about once you've hired your student assistants and see, what they want to do or what outcome you think together will work really well for your project. And this project outcome should be a driving force and something that you and your student are working towards throughout your entire SRAP project. You could choose to do a public presentation at a campus event. Virtual events do check off this box. Those are perfectly fine. We strongly encourage all SRAP students to present their projects at Scholars Day. The Scholars Day conference this year will be on April 6th, and abstracts will be due in early March. We'll send out more information about that. And you do also have other options for project outcomes, and you can definitely choose one of the other project outcomes and have your students submit to Scholars Day. So it's absolutely fine to have more than one project outcome. But definitely just be thinking about what that outcome is for your project and for your students. So now that your project has been funded, and first of all, thank you for waiting so patiently while those decisions came out and while we were finalizing budget. But now that you know that your project was funded, I'm sure you're anxious to start those next steps and get to work on your project. So the first thing that you'll need to do is post your position and hire your student assistants. You might need to attend additional training in order to post positions, submit an EPAR and or approve time if you haven't done that before and you don't know how to do these things. We'll talk a little bit about how sometimes there's someone in your department who can help with that. But if not, you may need to attend some additional trainings. If you think you need one of the trainings, just let me know and I'll help you find the one that you need. These are UWG-wide trainings. They're not ones that the Office of Undergraduate Research leads. So I will help point you in the right direction for where those trainings are. And you will also have a SRAP hiring workflow document. I'll add that to a Google Drive folder that everyone will have access to, so you can see kind of what your steps are if you already know the student you want to hire or if you do need to post and interview students for your position. You can hire any undergraduate student who's eligible to hold a student assistant position. And the student's major should relate to your project. That's not necessarily a requirement. Of course, you can hire the students who you would like to hire. We just encourage that the student's major relates to the research that you're doing. And most of the time that happens naturally anyways. Do keep in mind that SRAP uses EPARs. All student assistant positions on campus use EPARs now, not the paper ones. You can't submit an EPAR until you've received your individual position number. If you had a SRAP project last year, your position number has not changed. If you have not had a SRAP project before or you didn't have one specifically last year, your position number will be new or might have changed if you had one years ago. So Nikki Adair will send out everyone's position numbers. Even if you had one last year, she'll still send you an email pretty soon with that position number, so you'll know what that number is to put on your EPAR. And keep in mind that students cannot start working until they've been hired and turned in their required HR paperwork. And I cannot stress this enough, so please take this seriously. Your students cannot start working before they are hired. And then just a quick note at the end here, if you've not started work on your SRAP project by the end of the fall semester, your funds could be cut, so it is best to hire in the fall. We will not cut your funds without talking to you first. Some projects do the majority of their work in the spring, and that's fine. We understand that, but we will reach out if you haven't hired anyone or haven't started work in the fall to verify that you still need your entire award amount for the spring. So let's talk about some logistics of having a SRAP student, specifically for pay. For this year, SRAP student assistants are paid hourly. That is not a change from last year. You can decide what their hourly rate should be, anywhere between minimum wage and $11 an hour. And just make sure that you're planning so that you don't exceed your total SRAP award amount as you're determining what you want to pay them per hour and how many hours they're going to work, that sort of thing. Student assistant time has to be recorded in OneUSG, and it does require biweekly approval. Paper time cards are not acceptable, so students have to be clocking in and out. So if your student's not able to clock in and out and you're sure that they've been hired, just reach out. I'll give you some contacts at the end of this presentation. We'll make sure that your students have everything they need, but they do need to be clocking in and out in order to be paid. Now, you will be the student supervisor on record, but you can designate someone else to be the time approver, and that's done when the EPAR is submitted. That person does have to be able to verify and know the hours the student is actually working, but you can designate someone else in your department as the time approver if you have someone who can do that for you. Please know that we are continuing to explore options for SRAP student pay for future years, including going back to stipends. Our goal is to make the SRAP process as easy as possible on the SRAP supervisors so that you can focus on your research and on your project. So while there are some logistics that we have to pay attention to this year, and every year there are logistics of having a student assistant, we do want to make this as easy as possible on you. So we are still exploring options for future years, and all of us who you'll see on the contact sheet, myself, Nikki, Mary Beth, and Kara, we're all available to answer whatever questions you have. Keep in mind that there may be someone in your department who can help with these logistics. So there might be someone who regularly hires student assistants and approves time and does EPARs, and they can help you with all of that. And if there's not someone in your department who can help you with that or who can do that on your behalf, like I said earlier, there are trainings and resources to help you with those steps, and I can help you find those trainings if you need that. The last little bit on logistics here as it pertains to pay. We need to talk about student assistants who have more than one job on campus. Students cannot work over 20 hours a week total for all of their on-campus jobs, and students are allowed to have 2 on-campus jobs. So if a student works 15 hours at their other job, then obviously that means they can only work 5 hours for you. So both the student and the supervisors need to be aware of this policy. If a student works 2 on-campus jobs, when they're clocking in and out, please remind them that they need to make sure that they're clocking in and out for the correct job so that they're paid from the correct accounts. While it's the student's responsibility to clock in and out correctly and for the correct job, it will become your headache and mine if we need to work with HR to correct pay on the back end, like if it came out of the wrong account. So please just remind them as they're getting started at the beginning of the year that if they have 2 jobs on campus, they need to make sure that they're clocking in and out for the correct one. Like I said, students can work 20 hours a week for all on-campus jobs, but during breaks and over the summer, students can work up to 40 hours. So as you're planning how much they'll make per hour and what hours they'll work, do keep in mind that they can work a little bit more during the breaks. So looking at your SRAP money and your spending within your award, you should be tracking your spending. I will send you an email and drop it in our Google Drive folder as spending report. This is an Excel spreadsheet that is already set up to track your spending for you. Just be sure to change the variables and the award amount to match your situation. We have an example already in the spreadsheet, so you'll need to back out those numbers and put in your own. And this is simply a tool for you to use. It is not something that's required, and it's not something that you have to turn back into us. If you lose track of your spending, you can always contact Nikki Adair. Her email address is here, and she can give you a status update. And she will also be contacting you throughout the year to let you know how much of your award is left. And that way you can make sure that what you're tracking or what you have in your head matches what she has. And if they don't match, we can work on figuring out why. Overspending. It is your responsibility to ensure that you track your award and your students' hours and their spending. Any overages will need to be reimbursed to SRAP from your department. And I know this year particularly, there's not a whole lot of extra money around, so you want to make sure that you're not overspending. The only thing that you can use your SRAP award for as far as spending money is paying your student assistant. So it'll just be for the hours that they work. You are able to request additional funds though if you see that you're getting low or you realize that your students are working more hours, you're needing them more hours, and you know that you're going to need more funds. Just send me an email and let me know how much additional funding you need, and include the current status of your project, and just give a quick explanation of why it is that you're requesting these additional funds. Requests are considered on a first-come, first-served basis, and we will look at how much funding we have available and how much you're asking for, and we'll determine that award amount to add to your award. We cannot guarantee that additional funds are available. This might be a change from what you're used to in past SRAP years. We have awarded every single penny of the SRAP money, so there will only be additional funds available if projects are canceled or people return part of their awards. So at any time during the year, if you realize that you don't need all of your SRAP funds, please just reach out, let Nikki and I know so that we can reallocate those funds to another project. We know that there are all kinds of reasons why you might need to return funds. Perhaps you had hired a student and they unexpectedly quit the position, and then you had to take the time to post and rehire, so you're not using them all. Or something happens with your research and it turns out that you don't need all the funds. That's absolutely fine. Returning funds will not impact future award decisions. So please don't feel like you can't return this year and still get an award next year. We understand that there are all kinds of reasons why you might need to return funds, but it does help us a lot to know that there's additional funds available, because typically we do have a waiting list of faculty who have requested additional funds and really need them for their projects. Typically in this orientation, this is the point where I talk about presenting at conferences for your students, and we know that that's going to look very different this year because travel is not approved for FY21, and that does include students. But they might still be presenting their research as part of a virtual conference this year, and we may have funds available that students can apply for to help with registration costs for virtual conferences. Those details are not available yet. We will update everyone by email when and if that information becomes available. Typically, we have an application process for students to apply for travel funds, and if we do have funds for registration costs for virtual conferences, it'll be a very similar application process. There are a couple opportunities that your students will have. The Georgia Undergraduate Research Conference, or GURC, is scheduled for October 23rd and 24th of this year. There will be a call for abstracts in mid-August with a submission deadline of September 10th. So if your students were working on research last year over the summer, this could be a great opportunity for them to present that work. We are still hosting the conference. It will be virtual, and all of those details will be sent out to the students who submit abstracts to the conference. But that conference is still happening. The GRC board is working very hard to make this a low or no cost opportunity, and as soon as we have those details, we'll send them out to everyone. But that will be a great presentation opportunity for students who are ready by October to present their work. And then, of course, in April, we will have our Scholars Day Undergraduate Research Conference that we encourage all students to submit to. And they are absolutely able to submit their project to both conferences if they're interested in both. Now I want to talk about the end of the SRAP year and wrapping up SRAP. These are just some details to kind of just have in the back of your mind. We will send emails with all of this information as we get closer. So just know that we will follow up about this as well, so you don't need to remember it all right now. You will have a site visit in the spring semester like we always do. Likely these visits will be virtual, though we don't know what the format will be just yet. We will keep you updated as we're scheduling those. A member of the SRAP committee will reach out to schedule your visit, and we'll let everyone know, like I said, what format that will take. At the end of the year, there will be a project progress report or evaluation due in InfoReady. This is where you originally applied for your SRAP award. We will send you a link through the InfoReady system, so it'll be very easy for you to access that. It's a quick evaluation or progress report at the end. You can even work with your student or ask your student to submit that if you want them to have that practice. So we'll email you instructions and a reminder and a link in the spring. And in this evaluation, you'll describe the project outcome that we talked about at the beginning of the SRAP orientation. We do want to recognize the work that our SRAP students do throughout the year. So SRAP students are highly encouraged to submit to Scholars Day in April, and this is where they will be recognized. When Scholars Day is in person, the SRAP students have an additional ribbon on their name badge that identifies them as SRAP and recognizes them as a SRAP student. If the conference is virtual, which it probably will be, I'm not sure what that recognition will look like yet. We're still working on that, but we will definitely recognize students who are working on SRAP projects during the conference. And then your department may also choose to recognize your SRAP students in other ways. So if you have an awards ceremony or something like that, you may choose to recognize those students there. That's completely up to you. We are hoping to have summer SRAP in summer 21. We just wrapped up our summer 20 SRAP projects, and we had a great summer with research. So we are, like I said, hoping to offer that again in summer 21. Proposals would be due early in the spring semester, so just keep an eye out for emails about that. We will send information to everyone. Some things to note about summer is that students can work up to 40 hours during the summer, so it's a great opportunity for in-depth research and also for summer employment for the students. And it's also a great opportunity to hire underclassmen as we're working to build a culture of research at UWG. Students can spend some more time on their projects with more hours to work over the summer. You can really train them and get them exposed to longer term research projects that could carry over several semesters. So summer's a great time to hire new students or underclassmen to work on your research projects. And like I said, we'll keep you updated with details for summer SRAP for summer 21. Lastly, I want to mention national scholarships and fellowships because often students who are engaged in research are also strong candidates for these national awards. So if you have students who are interested in graduate school, summer research, study abroad when that starts back up again, or any of the specific awards listed here, or even other awards that are not listed here, our office does help students with all national scholarships and fellowships. Please send them my way. You can share my contact information if they have questions. We are also going to be hosting several virtual information sessions via Google Meet, so you can see our fall semester calendar there of the fall fellowship information sessions that we'll be hosting. So please have your student email me, or you can shoot me an email if you'd like the link to any of those sessions. We'd be happy to send those out to your students. I'm going to leave you on a list of contacts. So you have my contact information, Nikki, who is over the SRAP budget, Mary Beth Phillips in HR, who can help with job posting and hiring and EPARs, and then Kara Clark in Career Services, who can help with the student employment side of things. If you have any questions and you know which of the four of us those questions go to, please feel free to just reach out to the correct person. Of course, if you're not sure who a question should go to, you can always email me and I'm happy to help you find answers. So thank you for joining me for our 2020-2021 SRAP orientation. And then if you have questions, please feel free to shoot me an email at any time during the SRAP year. Thanks.